I'm going to discuss all of the questions which have been asked by UPSC in last 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025. That writing is a process of learning. Writing is not the end goal. So I'm going to deliver this lecture. You have some content, but when you write it, you become better at that particular subject. Okay. Then any advancement in the field of communication technology, computing technology, electronics, we should prepare that in this domain. यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा current affairs होगा. How real is the threat of them causing extinction of life? इसको आप कैसे आंसर करोगे? तो देखो strategy क्या है? Best strategy ये है that you will try to deflect that asteroid. What are its advantages and limitations? Advantage ये है that compared to previous method which was cash based, it has reduced the waiting period. CAR T cell therapy की हम बात कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. We can give the example of CAR T cell therapy, or we can give the example of CRISPR-Cas9.
UPSC preparation begins with one practical question. How do you turn a vast syllabus into a clear, workable study process? That clarity does not come from adding more material. It comes from a structure that decides sequence, priority and review. The Delhi GS Foundation course at VisionIAS is built around that structure. Core subjects are taught in a planned flow, so concepts build instead of overlapping. Current affairs are integrated with static topics, so relevance is clear from the start. Tests are used to check understanding at the right stage, not just to measure scores. Mentorship focuses on keeping preparation aligned as the syllabus progresses. The result is a preparation process that stays steady and predictable, even as the syllabus expands. If you are looking for a structured approach to general studies, covering both prelims and mains with regular guidance and review, this course provides that framework. VisionIAS Delhi GS Foundation course starting from 6th January at 11 am, 16th January at 8 am and 23rd January at 5 pm at Karol Bagh and 7th January at 6 pm for English and 12th January at 11 am for Hindi at GTB Nagar. For more information, visit our website or call us on the given numbers.
Good evening, everyone. So welcome to this session. We are going to discuss last 3-year questions asked by UPSC in Science and Technology section in mains. Before I start this session, let me immediately tell you what the purpose of this entire session is. I aim here to briefly first talk about science and technology as a subject, particularly for mains examination. Second, I'm going to show you the important themes which one should prepare for examination. Third, I'm going to discuss all of the questions which have been asked by UPSC in last 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025. And finally, I also have 2 or 3 model answers which I have written for few questions. For other questions, I'm going to discuss the content, the approach, all of that. But I want you to write the answer after attending the session. So anyone who is going to watch this lecture even later, I would want you to write answer by yourself. I'm going to discuss the content, the background, and all of that. But always remember, and I say that often in my classes, that writing is a process of learning. Writing is not the end goal. So I'm going to deliver this lecture, you have some content, but when you write it, you become better at that particular subject. Okay. So one of my expectation from this session from you will be that once you attend this session, take some time and write answer to all of these questions which we are going to discuss. Okay. So let's start with about this subject itself. This is perhaps the most dynamic subject of UPSC syllabus, and as a result of that, you find that questions mostly are current affairs inspired. Most of the questions will be inspired from current affairs. This is true for both prelims and mains examination. In prelims, this syllabus is very wide because if you look at the prelims syllabus, they have just added 2 words, general science, and that can mean anything. So as a result of that, there is a very wide scope. In mains also there is a wide scope, but the good thing is that in mains they have focused upon certain keywords. Like at least few keywords are given, and those keywords tell you some sort of pathway that what are the topics you're supposed to prepare. I have added more keywords based on my understanding of previous 15-20 years question, that what are the important themes which one should prepare from this section of science and technology. Okay, so I'm going to first show you, and we already know this. I'm very sure that all of you already have seen this syllabus. So if you look at paper 3 syllabus, look at the keywords: science and technology developments and their applications and effects in everyday life. Now this is a very open-ended keyword. This is actually one of the keywords, one of those keywords which can mean a lot of things. And UPSC can ask any question which is in news. But other keywords are more specific. Achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology, awareness in the fields of information technology, space technology, computing, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issues relating to intellectual property rights. So these are some of the specific keywords which are mentioned. Based on previous year questions and based on my own understanding of the subject and the requirement of the subject from UPSC perspective, I often focus upon following keywords. That how one should prepare as an aspirant, how you should think about this topic, science and technology. First, you can divide every topic, almost every topic, if not all of the topic, almost every topic, in one of these major themes. My first theme here is that advancements which are happening in space technology. I've also added astronomy in the same line. I should not ideally, because these are two very, very different things. But because space is a larger theme, so I've added these 2 lines. So any advancement, any development which is happening in space technology and astronomy, we should prepare that. Then any advancement in the field of communication technology, computing technology, electronics, we should prepare that in this domain. यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा current affairs होगा, ठीक है? सबसे ज़्यादा current affairs इस वाले topic में होगा. The third important theme for UPSC is biotechnology and health. This is one of the core topics, and you can expect questions in both prelims and mains examination from these 2 themes. The fourth topic, not as important as perhaps the first 3 which I have mentioned, but the fourth topic is nuclear technology. Just if you are preparing for 2026 or 2027, then I would highly recommend you to take this topic seriously. You must have seen in news about Parliament passing Shanti Bill, and that has direct bearing on nuclear technology. As a result of that, this topic actually becomes very important for 2026 and 27. Defense technology has become very popular in prelims examination. One question in mains was also asked in 2021, I think. After that, not a single question has been asked from defense technology in mains. In prelims, almost every year they are asking 1 or 2 questions. In mains, not so much. But I will not be surprised if they ask question in mains also from this theme, defense technology. Here also questions will be from current affairs. They say one of the topics I will prepare, I should immediately also tell you that what topics you can prepare. There is a keyword given in your syllabus, indigenization of technology. If we talk about indigenization, there are certain domains we should focus upon. And one of that domain is defense technology. Okay. So we should prepare this topic. Another small but important topic, nanotechnology, and then relate that with a larger theme, material sciences. Material sciences खुद में एक अलग topic है. Advancements in material, exotic materials, and how nanotechnology as an independent topic, but also how nanotechnology contributes to material science. We can prepare it like this. Another very important theme is about energy security of India. We all know about coal and natural gas and petroleum, that these are non-renewable sources, first. They are polluting, second, and they emit a lot of greenhouse gases, which causes global warming. So in any case, as a responsible nation, we should shift our coal-based energy from renewable energy sources, alternative energy sources. One of the option is nuclear, which I have covered here in nuclear technology. But think of other sources also. Think of, for example, think of solar energy or wind energy or green hydrogen. All of those things are very important and we should prepare these topics well. Solar wind के साथ problem है that I cannot have solar energy during night. I cannot have wind energy if there is no wind. So as a result of that, we have to invest into energy storage. We have to invest into batteries. So that is why knowing about energy storage technology also becomes very, very important. Okay. And last but not the least, a small topic, but every 4 or 5 years, you can expect a question from this topic also, intellectual property right. This is directly given in your main syllabus, and you can expect one question every 4 or 5 years from this topic. So in 2024, there was a question on this topic. Maybe in coming years, there will again be a question from this topic. One topic which I have not added here, but you can, and that is how technology is helping us in fighting environmental problem. Because I also teach that topic separately in environment section, so I've not included it here. But if you would want, you can add one more domain, and that will be technological solution to fight environmental problem. Think of some of the environmental problems we are facing. Think of air pollution. If you are in Delhi NCR region, you know the extent of the problem. So think about the technological solution which can be used to tackle this problem of air pollution or water pollution or plastic pollution, electronic waste, solid waste management, all of those things. Then think about other problems. For example, think about global warming and climate change. That what are the technological solutions to tackle that, right? Or think about sustainability in agriculture. So you should also prepare this theme from science and tech and environment perspective, that you read about environmental problems, you read about way forward, possible solution. One of that possible solution always will be technological solution, right? So if something is in news with respect to technological solution to fight environmental problem, we should prepare that. So these are all the themes, major themes I can prepare from science and tech for both prelims or mains examination. I will add one more theme here, environmental technologies or technologies to solve environmental problems, technology to solve or tackle environmental problems. So this as a topic also can be prepared, okay? So that is the starting point, that these are the major themes which one should prepare for both prelims or mains perspective. It is an important topic. You expect about 10, 11, 12 questions in prelims examination, and you expect about 3, but for last few years now 4 questions also in mains examination. It is directly given in paper 3 syllabus. So questions will be in paper 3. In 2024, there were 2 questions. So it is not in 2025. This is not correct. Not in 2025, but in 2024, there were 2 questions from Science and Tech in paper 4. जो ethics का पेपर है, both questions का जो theme था वो AI था, artificial intelligence था. There was one theoretical question and then there was one case study. But in any case, apart from that, you will find that most of the questions will be in paper 3. Okay. And in today's session, I'm only going to discuss the questions asked in last 3 years. There are about 12 questions I think I have here to discuss. And even within these 12 questions, you will find that how many parts of the syllabus has been covered by UPSC. Okay. So rather than dividing questions year-wise, I have divided questions theme-wise. That we will first look at the questions asked by UPSC from space technology, then we will discuss from ICT, from biotechnology and health, and so on and so forth. So I have divided all of the questions thematically rather than year-wise. Okay. So let's start with the first theme. That what type of questions have been asked. My goal here will be to tell you that why this question was asked and how can we write a good answer for that specific question. Okay. So in 2025, there was not a single question from space technology, which was, by the way, surprising because a lot of things had happened in 2025. SpaceX mission was launched. Aditya L1 mission has been launched 2 years ago. Entire Gaganyaan plan, some news was there, right? ExpoSat mission was launched. But that only makes the topic more important next year. So if there was not a question in there was not a single question in 2025, it makes this topic more important for 2026-27. But look at the question asked in 2024. What are asteroids? How real is the threat of them causing extinction of life? What strategies have been developed to prevent such a catastrophe? There are 3 parts of the question. What are asteroids? Okay. अब इसका आंसर, बढ़िया आंसर क्या होगा? Ideally, I would want a candidate to make a drawing of solar system and show that most of the asteroids are between Mars and Jupiter. Make a small drawing of solar system, show a huge gap between Mars and Jupiter, and make small dots and show that these are where most of the asteroids are located. So what are asteroids? Asteroids are solid, irregular shaped structure which could not become part of planet or moon or sun. So as a result of that, they are not that large and most of them are revolving around sun. And most of them are concentrated between Mars and Jupiter. So ये तो मेरा definition हो गया कि what are asteroids. Simple सा definition, don't make it technical, try to make your answer as much visual as possible. ठीक है? How real is the threat of them? Now this is the interesting part, causing extinction of life, and what strategies have been developed to prevent such a catastrophe. So first let me give you a context that why this question has been asked. This question has been asked due to 2 reasons. 3 years ago, NASA launched a very ambitious mission, which was called DART mission. The purpose of DART mission was to demonstrate that we can change the course of an asteroid. A mission was launched to a very faraway asteroid called Didymos and Dimorphos. There is a dual asteroid system, a smaller asteroid revolving around a larger asteroid. The goal here was to hit the smaller asteroid and change its orbit. Can we do that? That was the purpose of this mission. Why this mission was done, I will come to that in a moment. So, context ये है, context is the mission of NASA called DART mission. And then, in 2024 itself, there was a news. ISRO chairman had made a statement that we would want to become part of planetary defense system. That if there is a threat to this planet from asteroids or any external threat, then there is already an alliance. And as of now, ISRO is not member of that alliance. but ISRO would like to be member of such type of alliance. That was the news. That was the immediate trigger that why this was picked by UPSC and this question was asked. Okay. So let's now, so pehle, background should be very clear that why this question has been asked. So now, how real is the threat of them causing extinction of life? इसको आप कैसे answer करोगे? Right? Think for a moment. You can pause this video if you are watching this online. You can pause this video. Think for a moment, and how are you going to answer it? Anyways, the answer is that it depends upon what type of asteroid it is. If it is an asteroid which is more than 10 kilometers in diameter, and if it is going to directly hit Earth, if there is a possibility like that, then yes, it can cause extinction of life. A larger part of life can perish if something like that were to happen. So indeed, there is a threat to extinction of life if you have an asteroid more than 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers in diameter and hitting planet Earth directly. Smaller asteroid, few hundred meters, few meters, not a lot of damage is going to happen. Many of these smaller pieces, they burn up in the atmosphere and they completely get vaporized. Some larger pieces, even if they are not completely getting vaporized, few centimeters, few meters will be left, it will hit at a place, some small tremor will occur, but that's it. Nothing else is going to happen. But if you have an asteroid as large as 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers in diameter, 20 kilometers in diameter, then yes, hitting from that asteroid, that is going to cause extinction of life as we know it. And you're also going to mention that it is not a theoretical idea. It has already happened. We have sufficient evidence that 66 million years ago, an asteroid large enough hit planet Earth, which caused an extinction, which led to extinction of all of the terrestrial dinosaurs. Dinosaurs became extinct. Only avian dinosaurs, dinosaurs which could fly, they survived. तो आप ये लिखोगे. इस क्वेश्चन का देखो आंसर कैसा होगा? I would expect a basic definition and a diagram. And then quickly jump to the second part of the question. How much is there a threat that it can cause extinction of life? Ab bologe, yes, that threat is very less. The probability of that happening is very less, but it is not zero. Okay, so ये हमारा answer होगा. That it depends upon the size of the asteroid and probability of such event happening is very less, but this probability is not zero. So in next few hundred years, the probability is very less. But in next few thousand years, the same probability will increase. In next few million years, the same probability is going to increase. So indeed, there is a threat that asteroid can hit planet Earth and it can cause extinction of life. And I will definitely write the example of extinction of dinosaurs, which happened 66 million years ago. If somebody is going to write that in the answer, you will definitely get 0.51 marks extra for that specific example. Okay. And now let's come to the third part, that what strategies have been developed if such an occurrence has to occur. तो यहाँ पे जो हमने एग्जाम्पल करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ रखा है उसको आप यूज करोगे. तो देखो स्ट्रैटेजी क्या है. बेस्ट स्ट्रैटेजी ये है that you will try to deflect that asteroid. You are continuously monitoring sky for any type of immediate threat. If the calculations tell you that there is an asteroid indeed coming towards Earth and it can cause extinction, then few things can be immediately done. The first and foremost thing which can be done is that you will try to deflect this asteroid. You will try to hit it in a way. So for example, you can launch some kinetic weapon which will try to deflect it. You can launch something called gravitational tractor beam which will try to deflect it. You can try to deflect that with help of lasers and ions. So few things can be done to try to deflect it. That will be the best case scenario. And if that does not work well, then the last resort will be that you are going to detonate an atomic bomb around it. You are going to launch a missile. That missile will carry an atomic bomb, and you're going to detonate that atomic bomb around it, so that this large asteroid becomes smaller fragments, and those smaller fragments fall at different places. And yes, they will cause damage, but that damage will be regional damage. It will not be a global catastrophe. That is the last scenario. And then in this context, you will talk about DART mission, and you'll talk about the fact that how ISRO aims to become part of planetary defense system. And that will be the conclusion. ठीक है? तो concluding remark में आप DART mission जो मैंने बताया नासा का, इसके बारे में आप लिखोगे. So I repeat, introduction, main body. मेन बॉडी में दो मेन पॉइंट को आप इलैबोरेट करोगे. इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन साइज ऑफ एस्ट्रॉयड. एंड सेकेंड आप बताओगे दैट द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ दिस हैपनिंग इज वेरी लो. ओनली इफ आई ट्राई टू फोरकास्ट farther and farther in future, then this probability is going to increase. As far as we know, for next few hundred years, no asteroid is going to hit planet Earth directly, as far as we know as of now. But we have to be careful. Okay, and then you will write final part of the answer that yes, there are indeed strategies. The best strategies will be try to deflect it with help of launching lasers, ion beams, gravitational tractor beams. These are all of the keywords which one should try to write. And the last resort will be detonating an atomic bomb around it so that it can be converted into smaller pieces, and that will not cause a global catastrophe, even though it will cause regional damages. ठीक है, तो ये हमारा पूरा का पूरा आंसर होगा. Okay, and I will definitely give the example of DART mission, and that was one of the reason why this question was asked. Look at this question. What is the main task of India's third moon mission which could not be achieved in its earlier mission? List the countries that have achieved this task. Introduce the system in the spacecraft launched and explain the role of Virtual Launch Control Center at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, which contributed to the successful launch from Sriharikota. 4 पार्ट है, बट ये पार्ट बहुत ही सिंपल सा है. लिस्ट द कंट्रीज ऑफ दैट countries that have achieved this task. Very few countries. US, Russia, China, and India became the 4th country to do that. तो ये पार्ट तो बहुत ही सिंपल है, आपको एक लाइन में लेके लिखना पड़ेगा कि these countries have done it. हम यहाँ पे ये ऐड कर सकते हैं कि India is the only country which has launched so close to South Pole, because none of the previous launches have been close to South Pole. तो ये वाला भी एक अलग से आप ऐड करोगे. Anyways, let's look at again part by part. What is the main task of India's third moon mission which could not be achieved in its earlier mission? So this was Chandrayaan 3. Before this we had launched Chandrayaan 1 and Chandrayaan 2. आप briefly बताओगे दोनों मिशन के बारे में, डिटेल में नहीं जाना है. Chandrayaan 1 was an orbiter mission. Orbiter mission का मतलब क्या है? That it only orbited around moon. ठीक है? There was no landing in Chandrayaan 1. In Chandrayaan 2, we had landing, and then there was a rover also. But the lander and rover, it could not soft land. It crashed. So that part of the mission failed. The orbiter mission continued, but landing, that soft landing on surface of moon, which was an objective, that failed. So Chandrayaan 3 was able to successfully do that. ये हमारा फर्स्ट पार्ट का आंसर होगा. तो फर्स्ट पार्ट का आंसर आप नहीं कर सकते हो जब तक आप चंद्रयान 1 के बारे में ब्रीफली ना बताओ एंड चंद्रयान 2 के बारे में आप ब्रीफली ना बताओ. सो यू हैव टू ब्रीफली मेंशन दिस 2 मिशंस without going into lot of detail, and then you have to discuss the factual information about Chandrayaan 3, that how the lander and rover module, it landed close to South Pole, and India became the 4th country after US, Russia and China, but only the 1st country to land so close to South Pole. तो ये हमारा फर्स्ट पार्ट एंड सेकेंड पार्ट जो है, दिस आंसर इज डन. थर्ड पार्ट, इंट्रोड्यूस द सिस्टम इन द स्पेसक्राफ्ट लॉन्च्ड. ये थर्ड पार्ट है. तो चंद्रयान 3 के क्या क्या सिस्टम्स थे? सो वी हैड 3 सिस्टम एंड उस 3 सिस्टम के सब कंपोनेंट्स थे. हमारा पहला सिस्टम जो था वो था प्रोपल्जन मॉड्यूल. आपने पिक्चर अगर देखा होगा चंद्रयान 3 का, प्रोपल्जन मॉड्यूल कैरीड लैंडर एंड रोवर. लैंडर एंड रोवर दे हैड साइंटिफिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, right? Rover had 2 scientific instruments. Lander, I think, had, if I'm not mistaken, 5 scientific instruments. And इनका अलग अलग ऑब्जेक्टिव था. तो ये आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखना है. तो रोवर का जो, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल जो 2 साइंटिफिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स थे, उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव था दैट इट इज गोइंग टू रोम अराउंड ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ मून. इट इज गोइंग टू एनालाइज द sample, that lunar soil sample, and it will try to figure out its chemical composition, okay, using spectroscopic analysis. एंड जो लैंडर के जो मॉड्यूल्स थे उनका भी अलग अलग फोकस था. उसमें से जो एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट है उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव था टू नो हाउ टेम्परेचर वेरीज, मून के सरफेस पे क्या टेम्परेचर है. फिर थोड़ा सा हम ड्रिल करके देखेंगे कि टेम्परेचर कैसे वेरी हो रहा है. अनदर साइंटिफिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट, उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये था दैट डू वी हैव लॉट ऑफ आयोनाइज्ड पार्टिकल्स इन द लूनर एटमॉस्फेयर. थर्ड जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट था उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये था that do we have evidence of moonquakes, जैसे earthquakes हैं, do we have moonquakes. So we had different scientific instruments with different objective. तो ये आपको लिखना है. आपको लिखना है कि प्रोपल्जन मॉड्यूल का काम था लैंडर एंड रोवर को लेके जाना. लैंडर एंड रोवर के अंदर साइंटिफिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स थे जिनका अलग अलग ऑब्जेक्टिव था, एंड यू हैव टू राइट ऑल ऑफ दोज ऑब्जेक्टिव्स as much as you can remember. And then the last part of the question, explain the role of virtual launch control center at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center which contributed to the successful launch from Sriharikota. अब इसका चंद्रयान 3 से पर से लेना देना नहीं है. For past few years now, जो रॉकेट लॉन्च करने से पहले जो फाइनल इंस्पेक्शन होता है, वो फाइनल इंस्पेक्शन अब हम मैनुअली नहीं करते. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि कोई इंसान जाके वहां पे मैनुअली चेक कर रहा है. You have really good virtual check system where we can look at all of the important components, its functioning, and before we launch, we can be confirmed that everything is working nicely. So we do not do any type of manual inspection in the end. That inspection has been automated with help of very powerful cameras and with help of very powerful computing systems, and we can confirm that this rocket is ready to be launched and it can be launched. तो जो last part है उसका चंद्रयान 3 से लेना देना नहीं है. It is more about this advancement that we can do virtual check before the final countdown of the rocket. ठीक है? So this was these were the 2 questions of space technology, and I would expect you to definitely write answer to this question, but if possible try to answer this question also. Okay? Let's go to the next theme. यहां पे मेरे पास एक क्वेश्चन का मॉडल आंसर मैंने लिखा हुआ है. आई एम गोइंग टू शो यू कि मॉडल आंसर कैसा होगा. ठीक है? ये क्वेश्चन देखो, 4 पार्ट है इस क्वेश्चन के. What is the technology being employed for electronic toll collection on highways? First part. What are its advantages and limitations? Second part. What are the proposed changes that will make this process seamless? Third part. Would this transition carry any potential hazard? Fourth part. And question देखो कितने नंबर का है? 10 नंबर का है. तो इस क्वेश्चन में सबसे बड़ा लिमिटेशन ये है कि बिना डिटेल में जाए, टेक्निकल डिटेल में जाए, जितने भी पार्ट्स हैं उसको आप अच्छे से आंसर कर सको. ठीक है? ये बहुत क्रूशियल है. राइटिंग ऑल द 4 पार्ट्स इन ओनली 150 वर्ड इन योर लिमिटेड टाइम, ये यहाँ पे जो है वो यूपीएससी एक तो आपसे अवेयरनेस चेक करना ही चाह रहा है, बट ये भी चेक करना चाह रहा है कि इफ आई थ्रो यू मेनी क्वेश्चंस एंड यू हैव टू राइट ओनली इन 150 वर्ड, then which are the words you are going to choose? You have to be very selective in what you are going to write and what you are not going to write. Okay. So what is the technology being employed for electronic toll collection on highways? The technology which is used right now is called RFID, radio frequency identification technology. How does it function? Every vehicle has a tag. That tag is called FASTag. That FASTag encodes information about vehicle and bank account detail. When you go to a toll booth, there is a scanner, it scans the FASTag and money gets automatically deducted. First part, that's it. 30 words, 30 to 35 words. आगे बढ़ेंगे, आप लिखोगे immediately, no background, no nothing, immediately write that currently for toll collection, RFID technology, radio frequency identification technology is being used with help of fast tags where money automatically get deducted at the toll booths. ठीक है, पहला पार्ट हमारा डन है. What are its advantages and limitations? Advantage ये है that compared to previous method which was cash based, it has reduced the waiting period, right? It has reduced the congestion, things happen automatically, right? So these are the advantages of RFID. What are the limitations? Limitation ये है that it has not eliminated the congestion. And because there is a congestion, more petrol consumption, more carbon footprint, more time, more traffic, more noise pollution, all of these are limitations associated with the current system. What are the proposed changes? Proposed change ये है that we are going to do GPS based toll collection. Vehicles will have GPS, vehicles will have number plate which will have optical recognition character, and जहाँ पे अभी toll booth है वहाँ पे cameras होंगे. Those cameras are going to look at your number plate, and with help of GPS we are going to decide, it will be calculated that how much distance you have traveled on that toll road, and accordingly money will be deducted. That's it. What are the potential hazards? There are potential hazards. One of the serious potential hazard is right to privacy. That it must only be used for toll collection. This data of GPS based toll collection, it cannot be shared and it cannot be misused. That will be a gross violation of right to privacy. Okay. So ये एक बड़ा potential hazard है. और भी hazards हैं, expensive है, पुराने vehicles का हम क्या करेंगे, all of those things can be written. But जो सबसे serious potential hazard ये है that how it can lead to violation of privacy. ठीक है. 4 parts, very specific in terms of what you are writing, and you are progressing to the next part. This is how you are going to approach this particular question. Look at next question. Introduce the concept of artificial intelligence. How does it help in clinical diagnosis? Do you perceive any threat to privacy of the individuals in use of AI in healthcare? Okay. Very simple question. Again, 150 words, 3 parts of the question. Introduce the concept of AI. एक हमारे पास एक simple working definition AI का होना चाहिए. Artificial intelligence simply means simulation of human intelligence in machines. If machines can think, reason, in the same way human brain functions, we will say that we have achieved artificial intelligence. It does not have to do everything human brain is capable of, but whatever it is doing, at least for that task, its capability is as good as human beings, or it requires human brain level intelligence. Okay, the reasoning part, finding pattern, cognition, all of that, it is happening at the level of human brain, and I will say that that is artificial intelligence. It has applications across many domain. जैसे अगर मुझे prepare करना हो तो AI healthcare में पूछ लिया UPSC ने, अब मैं ये भी prepare करूँगा कि AI education में कैसे helpful है, AI agriculture में कैसे helpful है, right? AI security में, defense में उसका क्या application है. तो इस टाइप के अलग अलग themes हम prepare करेंगे एग्जाम के लिए. ठीक है. So how does AI help in clinical diagnosis? Many ways it helps in clinical diagnosis. AI has been trained upon entire medical databases. It has information about many medical journals, special cases, and it can see pattern, it can find pattern faster than any human being. So as a result of that, if you give AI diagnostic images such as X-ray, CT scan, MRI scans, if you provide all of these symptoms, then AI can quickly assess the possible diseases one might be suffering from. First. Second, AI can find patterns which doctors might miss upon. Third, how different organs are correlated with each other. AI can be really good at making that connection and finding early detection of disease. I will give you a very good example. Retinal scan can tell you the threat one might have from heart attack. Google is developing a tool like that. So अगर आपको स्पेसिफिक एग्जाम्पल नहीं भी याद है तब भी बिना एग्जाम्पल लिखे भी हम ये तो लिख ही सकते हैं that how it helps in early detection of diseases, how it helps in finding patterns which doctors might miss, how it allows to assess a patient based on all of the diagnostic images and symptoms, and how it can assign or essentially answer the question about possible diseases a patient might be suffering from. So it can be a great tool in assisting doctors for diagnosing diseases. Do you perceive any threat to privacy of the individual? Yes. The most serious threat to privacy is that AI is trained upon personal sensitive data. Healthcare is considered a personal sensitive data. So protecting that data for both legal and ethical reason is paramount. आप ये लिखोगे. So if AI can decrypt encrypted data, that is a challenge. If AI does have access to individuals' information, then companies can misuse that data. We do not want that to happen. So protecting the privacy of people and protecting anonymizing data in a way that even if data is being used to train AI system, anonymizing it, anonymization का मतलब ये है that किसका डेटा है ये डेटा सेट का पार्ट नहीं हो. डेटा है किसी का है, बट वो किसका है ये ट्रेनिंग का पार्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. So doing such things is very, very important, and it is important for ethical reasons and it is important for legal reasons also. So indeed there is a threat regarding right to privacy, but we can make protocols, we can have code of conduct, we can have laws to ensure that this is not misused in any way. तो ये हमारा एक concluding remark हो सकता है in this particular question. Okay. So AI as a theme इसी साल by the way, नहीं इस साल नहीं, ये तो 2023 का है, 2024 का पेपर उठा के देखना. 2024 के पेपर 4 में 2 क्वेश्चन है AI पे, but not in paper 3 but in paper 4. And look at this question. This was a very much expected question. India aims to become a semiconductor manufacturing hub. What are the challenges faced by semiconductor industry in India? Mention the salient features of India's semiconductor mission. इसका मैंने मॉडल आंसर लिखा है कि हम इसको कैसे करेंगे. तो मेन रीजन जो यूपीएससी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, आई कैन रिलेट दिस टॉपिक विथ ऑल्सो इंडिजनाइजेशन ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. तो पहले तो आप ये बताओगे, ब्रीफली आप डिस्कस करोगे कि सेमीकंडक्टर्स व्हाई दे आर अ बिग डील. आप बताओगे कि सेमीकंडक्टर्स आर बैकबोन ऑफ मॉडर्न इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, एंड मॉडर्न इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इज इन ईच एंड एवरी डोमेन, चाहे हेल्थ केयर हो, चाहे डिफेंस हो, चाहे एजुकेशन हो, कुछ भी हो, मोबाइल फोन्स हो, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स हो, कोई भी हम उठा लें वो बिना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के नहीं चल सकता. एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का जो बैकबोन है वो सेमीकंडक्टर्स है. राइट. आप इमीडिएटली ये भी लिखोगे कि इंडिया इज हाईली डिपेंडेंट ऑन इंपोर्ट इन द फील्ड ऑफ सेमीकंडक्टिंग. ओके. एंड वी वांट टू रिड्यूस दैट डिपेंडेंसी. वी वांट टू डू at least few things in India, if not everything. So then the question arises that what are the challenges? And I will definitely highlight 3-4 major challenges. I have mentioned many, but I will highlight 3-4 major challenges. The first major challenge here is that this requires very high capital investment, but profit will not occur immediately. जो इंडस्ट्री सेटअप होंगी वो प्रॉफिटेबल बहुत बाद में होंगी, बट जो इनिशियल कॉस्ट है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा है, राइट? सो governments will have to incentivize manufacturing in terms of lucrative land deals, power deals, all of that, loan deals. Second जो challenge ये है that बहुत सारे monopolies हैं, particularly जो सबसे sophisticated chips हैं, जो 10 नैनोमीटर से जो छोटे चिप्स हैं, यहां पे बहुत सारे monopolies हैं. There is only one company in this entire world. The name of this company is ASML. It is located in Netherlands, and this company manufactures machines which are used for chip manufacturing. So this company does not manufacture chip. It manufactures lithographic machines which are essentially used in chip manufacturing. And chip manufacturing में जो monopoly है वो ताइवान का है. So you have monopolies, ASML as a company, and then you have chip manufacturing monopoly in Taiwan. Then you have a lot of concentration of useful materials, such as one of the raw material in many electronics is rare earth minerals, and उसका जो concentration है वो चाइना के पास है, right? बाकी चीज़ें जो है वो नॉर्मल बाकी पॉइंट्स आप लिख सकते हो कि स्किल्ड वर्कफोर्स चाहिए, बहुत प्योर वाटर चाहिए, ग्लोबल कंपटीशन है, स्टार्ट हम कर रहे हैं, देयर इज अ लिमिटेड इकोसिस्टम इन इंडिया, वी आर डूइंग इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. तो वो सारे जेनेरिक पॉइंट्स तो आप लिख ही सकते हो, बट ये जो स्पेशल पॉइंट्स हैं, द कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट, मोनोपोलीज, राइट, ये सारे स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट्स एंड स्पेसिफिक एग्जाम्पल जब आप लिखोगे, दैट विल डेफिनेटली फेच यू एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स. सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चन क्या था? मेंशन द सेलिएंट फीचर्स ऑफ इंडिया सेमीकंडक्टर मिशन. अब ये फैक्चुअल है, ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. जितना ज्यादा हम स्पेसिफिक होंगे उतना बेटर होगा, उतना आपका बढ़िया आंसर होगा. तो आप स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट्स लिखोगे. दैट ये 2021 में लॉन्च किया था विथ अ टोटल बजट ऑफ 76,000 करोड़ रुपीस. द गोल हियर इज टू क्रिएट अ सस्टेनेबल रेजिलिएंट सेमीकंडक्टर सप्लाई चेन. आप ये बोलोगे, फोकस करोगे कि हमारा जो फोकस है वो है सेमीकंडक्टर फैब्स पे, डिस्प्ले फैब्स पे, कंपाउंड सेमीकंडक्टर्स पे, एंड असेंबली टेस्टिंग, मार्किंग एंड पैकेजिंग पे, एंड आउटसोर्स सेमीकंडक्टर असेंबली एंड टेस्टिंग यूनिट पे. सो वी हैव स्पेसिफिक फोकस. We are not trying to do everything in India. That will not make a lot of sense. But there are certain areas where there is gap, where we have capability, and we are trying to build our ecosystem in those particular areas. We have design linked incentive. More companies innovate in India, more incentive will be given to them. We have focus upon research and development, industry academic linkage. ये आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो. And then we are focusing upon global collaboration, so that it brings technology and investment into India. So these are the salient features of semiconductor mission of India, and accordingly it's not an opinion based question. एक generic सा conclusion यहाँ पे लिख के आप question को end कर सकते हो, ठीक है? So this was a expected theme. This was an expected theme for this year mains examination, and there was a question on this of 15 marks. Let's look at the next question. This question I can fit in biotechnology but also in energy resources. As I told you earlier, that one of the major theme which you have to prepare is about energy resources. So in energy, how biotechnology can help us? This is a question in 2023, and then you again have a very similar question in 2025. How can India achieve energy independence through clean technology by 2047? And how can biotechnology play a crucial role in this endeavor? Right. So you can clearly see that similar themes are often repeated. few themes are more important than other. Energy is one of those themes, agriculture is another theme, space is another theme, artificial intelligence is another theme. These are the themes which you have to prepare really, really well. Education, healthcare, how technology help us in education, in healthcare, in agriculture. These are important themes. So I have answer to this question. Let me show you the answer. There's a question, again read the question. There are two parts. How can India achieve energy independence through clean technology? How can biotechnology play a crucial role in this endeavor? आप लिखोगे जो 2047 जो हमारा एक प्लान ये है that we want to produce enough energy from non-fossil fuel based sources. Clean energy को आप define कर सकते हो कि है क्या. We are talking about energy sources which do not emit greenhouse gases or other type of pollutants. Main goal here is to reduce our carbon footprint. आप इंट्रोडक्शन में ही करंट सिनारियो लिख सकते हो कि करंट सिनारियो हमारा एनर्जी का क्या है. जैसे अ वेरी यूजफुल डेटा कैन बी दैट हमारा जो टोटल इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटी है राइट नाउ वो 485 गीगावाट का है. एंड आउट ऑफ दैट 485 गीगावाट फॉसिल फ्यूल कंट्रीब्यूट्स टू अबाउट 51%, जहाँ पे कोल का कंट्रीब्यूशन 47% है, बाकी नेचुरल गैस है, डीजल है. एंड as a result of that, India does have the third largest carbon footprint in the world. Even though in per capita emission we are very less, but our total footprint is third largest in the world. One of the goals we have is by 2070 we want to become carbon neutral. ये भी आप लिख सकते हो introduction में ही. That by 2070 we want to be carbon neutral. So how can we transition towards clean energy? तो पहले तो आप यहीं लिखोगे that we need to expand renewable energy as much as we can. आप यहाँ पे जो हमारे गोल्स हैं नेशनल सोलर मिशन का या विंड एनर्जी मिशन का, उसके बारे में आप लिख सकते हो. सो यू कैन नेम फ्यू स्कीम्स हियर. देन यू कैन टॉक अबाउट दैट हाउ वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू मोर एनर्जी एफिशिएंट ग्रिड्स, हाउ वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग टुवर्ड्स इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी, सो दैट हमारा जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन सेक्टर है उसका कार्बन फुटप्रिंट कम हो. You can mention that how we are investing into energy storage technology, that solar energy and wind energy. If I want to use solar energy during night, we are investing into energy storage. So this is where we have to invest a lot. You can then mention that apart from these renewable energy sources, we also have to think about other alternatives. And nuclear is a great example. यहाँ पे आप न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी मिशन जो पिछले साल बजट में गवर्नमेंट ने अनाउंस किया उसके बारे में बात की जा सकती है. That nuclear energy mission by 2047, where we want to produce 100 gigawatt from nuclear energy. You can talk about that apart from this, we are also trying to invest to carbon capture and storage to reduce our carbon footprint. Or we are investing into circular economy where we can keep using same type of raw materials again and again, and we can minimize our waste generation. So there are a lot of things which can be written in the first part, that what are the pathways towards our clean energy future by 2047. And the second part of the question is that how is biotechnology going to play a very important role. अब यही क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी ने साल भर पहले भी पूछा था, 2 साल पहले पूछा था. अब वहाँ पे इन्हीं पॉइंट्स को थोड़ा आपको और डिटेल में लिखना है. तो बायोटेक्नोलॉजी हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू. With help of microbial organisms, with help of bacteria and fungi, we can produce different type of biofuel, right? जैसे आप पहले तो biofuel के बारे में लिखोगे, but think of second generation or third generation ethanol, biodiesel, biogas, which we can produce that will reduce our greenhouse gas emission, and it is also going to improve our current account deficit. तो environmental benefit भी है, economic benefit भी है. सेम क्वेश्चन का जो 2 साल पहले वाला क्वेश्चन था उसमें थोड़ा सा आप लिखोगे दैट जो बैक्टीरियाज हैं as they decompose certain type of organic matter. For example, think of organic matter with very high starch content and how this leads to production of ethanol. And ethanol can be blended with petrol and it can be used in vehicles. Same thing we can do for substance with high grease and fat content to convert that into biodiesel. You can also write that how gobar gas, biogas, can be produced from animal manure. That also happens, by the way, with help of bacteria. These are bacteria which can decompose organic waste in the absence of oxygen, and that produces methane. And that methane is nothing but biogas. And that methane can be utilized as a source of energy. Okay. You can also discuss that how in waste to energy we are using biological organisms. जैसे animal manure वाला ही example हो गया. So how in waste to energy we are using this example. How in carbon sequestration we are using bacteria to get rid of dangerous pollutants. So in hydrogen production we are using microbial organism. So biotechnology is helping us in a clean energy source in multiple ways. As many examples as you can throw, the better your answer is going to be. So another theme which you have to prepare: biotechnology for energy, biotechnology for to solving environmental problems, biotechnology in agriculture. These are some of the themes one should prepare for mains examination.
Prelims is approaching fast, so ask yourself, are you taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying? That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026, starting 5th January at 11 a.m., is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers.
In 2024, there was a question on IPR, intellectual property rights. What is the present world scenario of intellectual property rights with respect to life materials? Okay. Although India is second in the world to file patents, still only a few have been commercialized. Explain the reasons behind this less commercialization. This is a very good question and a very specific question. पहले पार्ट का दूसरे पार्ट से बहुत ज़्यादा लेना देना है नहीं. ये दोनों का थीम आईपीआर है, बट दोनों अलग अलग क्वेश्चन है. पहला क्वेश्चन जो है वो है लाइफ मटेरियल्स का मतलब बायोटेक्नोलॉजी है. That what is the present world scenario of intellectual property right with respect to life material? Life material is nothing but biotechnology. तो यहाँ पे आपको ये बताना है कि बायोफार्मा में, वैक्सीन्स में, फूड प्रोडक्शन में what type of patents are being used. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे examples, जितना आपको example थ्रो करना हो, आप ये बोलोगे that how new type of vaccines are being developed. For example, you can mention about mRNA vaccines, recombinant vaccines, DNA vaccines, right? That is one of the things. You are going to talk about how genetic engineering is helping us in finding treatment of diseases which traditionally did not have any possible treatment. जैसे आप जो हमारा CAR T cell therapy की हम बात कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. We can give the example of CAR T cell therapy. Or we can give the example of CRISPR-Cas9. So as many keywords as you can throw, we can talk about vaccines, we can talk about gene editing. जैसे we can discuss here about how CRISPR-Cas9 is allowing us to solve or find treatments of certain type of genetic diseases. We can talk about new therapies such as CAR T therapy. that how we are training immune system to fight cancerous cell. So in these areas you find more and more number of patents. Of course, you can talk about biopharma itself. That in pharma sector, use of biotechnology, we can talk about that. So these are the domains where lot of intellectual properties are being issued. आप ये भी लिख सकते हो that there is a conflict between, यहीं पे first part में ही आप ये लिख सकते हो कि there is a conflict between developed and developing nations, और conflict का source कुछ ऐसा है, the developed nations are not that rich in biodiversity, very few developed nations are very rich in biodiversity. Developing nations in tropical regions are very rich in biodiversity, and many of the biological resources, they are used by developed nations or companies of developed nations without sharing the benefit with people of developing nation. तो आप ये भी एक trend है. There is a conflict between developed and developing nation regarding what is called access and benefit sharing, right? तो ये first part है. Second part बिल्कुल अलग है. Second part का context ये है कि India is second in the world to file patents, जो कि by the way गलत data है. India is not second, I think India is seventh. But the question, the logic of the question is there, that we do file lot of patents, but they are not commercialized. तो बहुत ही देखो बहुत specific question है. यहाँ पे कुछ generic points तो आप चलो लिख के आ जाओगे कि lack of research and development है, lack of industrial academic collaboration है. But specific point क्या होगा? सबसे पहला तो ये कि पेटेंट होना, पेटेंट नए इन्वेंशन के लिए मिलता है आपको. यू हैव डन समथिंग न्यू, बट उस न्यू का मार्केट डिमांड क्या है? पेटेंट नंबर होना वर्सेस पेटेंट का क्वालिटी होना वर्सेस पेटेंट का यूटिलिटी होना. दीज आर थ्री डिफरेंट थिंग्स. वी कैन हैव मेनी नंबर ऑफ पेटेंट्स. We can essentially more patents mean that more invention is happening, but that invention should have market utility. It should fulfill some problems in the economic sector. It should have practical utility. तो पहला तो ये है. And India में ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा? Why we have less patents with commercial utility? And यहाँ पे आप relate करोगे कि there is a less industrial academic collaboration. that IITs में जो रिसर्च चल रहा है वो गवर्नमेंट फंडेड रिसर्च है, इंडस्ट्री फंडेड रिसर्च बहुत कम है. तो IITs में, NITs में, ट्रिपल IITs में जो रिसर्च चल रहा है वो मोस्टली गवर्नमेंट फंड कर रही है. आइडियली ये होना चाहिए कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर एंड यूनिवर्सिटीज दे शुड कोलैबोरेट टुगेदर इन रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट. दैट इज नॉट हैपनिंग दैट मच इन इंडिया. तो आप इसके बारे में लिखोगे कि ये एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है, लैक ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल एकेडमिक कोलैबोरेशन. पेटेंट का क्वालिटी भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है, नंबर से खाली नहीं होता, पेटेंट का क्वालिटी भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो आप इसके बारे में भी बात करोगे. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन टॉक अबाउट जेनेरिक पॉइंट्स लाइक दैट वी इन्वेस्ट वेरी लेस अमाउंट ऑफ मनी इन रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट. ब्रेन ड्रेन का प्रॉब्लम आप बात करोगे, लॉट ऑफ पीपल गो आउटसाइड फॉर बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटीज. सो ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स कैन बी रिटन एज जनरल पॉइंट, बट जो स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट्स है वो आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. But at the same time, I will definitely write 2-3 line conclusion as a futuristic way forward, that how can we solve this problem. Focus towards more industrial academic collaboration, incentivizing that, right? Focusing upon research papers in respected journals. So ये सारी चीज़ों पे हम एक focus कर सकते हैं. That can be a concluding remark, which and through which you can complete this answer. एक और सिलेबस में वर्ड है साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपमेंट्स एंड एप्लीकेशंस. तो ये देखो अगेन यहाँ पे कुछ भी आ सकता है, ये बड़ा ही एक ओपन एंडेड सा है. बट अगेन आई वांट टू फिट दिस टू क्वेश्चंस. आई कैन फिट इट हियर. आई कैन फिट दिस इनटू सॉल्विंग एनवायरमेंटल एंड सोशल प्रॉब्लम, एंड आई कैन फिट दिस वन इनटू ICT और एनर्जी आल्सो. सो लेट्स लुक एट दिस क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट. The world is facing an acute shortage of clean and safe fresh water. What are the alternative technologies which can solve this crisis? Briefly discuss any 3 such technologies, citing their key merits and demerits. So let me tell you इसका context क्या है. Context ये है, Bengaluru suffered serious water shortage last year, 2024 January February का news था, and this question was asked by UPSC. Before that, similar situation has occurred in other cities also. In Chennai it has happened, in Delhi also, not to the same level, but it has occurred. In few cities of Haryana it has occurred. तो आप ये contextualize करोगे, और ये चूंकि वर्ल्ड की बात है तो आप ग्लोबल एग्जांपल भी दे सकते हो. मेनी सिटीज इन साउथ अफ्रीका और ब्राजील, दे हैव सफर्ड फ्रॉम सिमिलर टाइप ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. टोटल अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर जो है वो तो सेम है, but amount of fresh water is decreasing. You can briefly talk about the reasons behind it. Very high extraction of groundwater. जो natural aquifers are, they are not being recharged due to growing concretization. तो आप 2-3 कारण भी बता सकते हो कि why is it happening. Because देखो ये 15 नंबर का क्वेश्चन है, you have to write 250 words. So ideally what I will do, I will contextualize this statement with examples, with data, and I will use examples from both India and the world, if I have examples from world. And I will also briefly discuss the reasons behind it, that why is it happening. It is because of excessive extraction of groundwater for agriculture, industry, etc. It is because of groundwater pollution. It is because of the fact that aquifers are not getting recharged. जो हमारा watershed है, that is not working properly. Growing concretization has not helped things into such things. But in any ways, 30-40 words and go to the main part of the question. What are the alternative technologies? तो alternative technology दो ही तरीके का हो सकता है. 2-3 चीजें हम कर सकते हैं. या तो आप नेचुरल एक्विफर को रिचार्ज करने पे जितना इन्वेस्ट कर सको वहाँ वो करोगे फर्स्ट. सेकेंड, आप ये करोगे कि जो ओशन वाटर है उसको आप फिल्टर करो. एंड थर्ड, आप ये करोगे कि जो ऑलरेडी हम फ्रेश वाटर यूज करते हैं उसको आप जितना रिसाइकल कर सको. ठीक है. फोर्थ, वी कैन ऑल्सो ऐड द एस्पेक्ट ऑफ रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग. तो ये देयर आर फ्यू थिंग्स विच कैन बी डन. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट ऑल ऑफ देम. फर्स्ट, हाउ कैन वी हेल्प इन इंश्योरिंग दैट हमारा जो नेचुरल एक्विफर्स है, जो ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग ग्राउंड वाटर है, वो रिचार्ज होता रहे. तो इसके लिए हमको चाहिए हॉलिस्टिक वाटरशेड डेवलपमेंट. जो पूरा का पूरा वाटरशेड है, वाटरशेड इज ऑल ऑफ द लैंड विच इसेंशियली फीड्स टू अ पर्टिकुलर वाटर सोर्स. जैसे मान लो कोई लेक है, कोई पॉन्ड है, कोई रिवर है, एंड इमेजिन फ्रॉम ऑल द प्लेसेस इट इज एक्यूमुलेटिंग वाटर. We have to preserve the entire ecosystem, not just the river, not just that lake, that pond. We have to preserve the entire area through which this water source is receiving water. Because in the flow of water, in this entire cycle, small amount of water percolates to groundwater and it becomes an aquifer. तो पहला तो हम ये कर सकते हैं कि our water extraction has to be sustainable so that we are recycling water a lot and we are allowing natural aquifers to be recharged. ठीक है. एक लाइन में आप उसके बारे में लिखोगे. सेकेंड, हम ये कर सकते हैं कि हम ओशन वाटर को फिल्टर करने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं. दैट वी कैन ट्राई टू फिल्टर ओशन वाटर. उसमें कुछ कुछ टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं. 2 टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज़ किया जा सकता है. या तो हम रिवर्स ऑस्मोसिस करेंगे, ना तो हम डिसैलिनाइजेशन करेंगे बाय वेपोराइजिंग ओशन वाटर and condensing water vapor into another chamber. I'm going to discuss all of these technologies in detail one by one. Next we can do is try to reuse and recycle water as much as possible. So that will also require water filtration. We can also do rainwater harvesting, that we are trying to gather rainwater not just for domestic and industrial use, but also that rainwater should help in groundwater recharge. There is one more technology which is called atmospheric water generator, where we can try to condense atmospheric water vapor and we can produce fresh water from that. So many of these things can be written here, and from these things you can choose 3 of them. Just say I will choose water desalination using reverse osmosis first. Second, I will choose rainwater harvesting, okay? And third, I can choose watershed development, right? So let's focus upon the first, that we want to do water desalination of ocean water using reverse osmosis. बेनिफिट क्या है? ओशन वाटर बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट में है हमारे पास. वी कैन फिल्टर एज मच एज ओशन वाटर एज वी कैन एंड वी कैन फुलफिल आवर वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट. ठीक है, तो पहला बेनिफिट तो यही है. नुकसान क्या है और चैलेंजेस क्या है? तो बहुत टाइप के चैलेंजेस हैं. ये एनर्जी इंटेंसिव प्रोसेस है, राइट? आपको फिल्टर चेंज करना पड़ेगा, एनर्जी इंटेंसिव प्रोसेस है. वो एनर्जी कहाँ से आएगा? Because then your water filtration will have high carbon footprint that will cause another problem. So energy should come from renewable energy sources for this filtration technology first. Second, what will happen to the salt? Because salt will be left. How are you going to, because I'm not talking about filtration for a household, I'm talking about filtration for an entire city. So it is going to produce huge amount of salt, and what are you going to do this about that salt? Third, what about geographical limitation? That in coastal areas it will work well, but what about non-coastal areas? तो वाटर ट्रांसपोर्ट हम करेंगे क्या? जैसे मान लो कि दिल्ली में पानी सप्लाई कैसे होगा, तो फिर वाटर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा होगा. सो इट इज़ रेस्ट्रिक्टेड बाय ज्योग्राफी. तो बेनिफिट है, शॉर्ट कमिंग है. ओके, लेट्स कम टू द सेकेंड. सेकेंड इज रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग. बहुत ही पावरफुल टूल है रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग. पहले तो आप बताओगे है क्या, बेनिफिट्स क्या है? इफेक्टिव यूज ऑफ रेन वाटर फॉर डोमेस्टिक इंडस्ट्रियल पर्पसेस. सेकेंड बेनिफिट क्या है? हेल्प्स इन ग्राउंड वाटर रिचार्ज. लिमिटेशन क्या है? वेरी मच डिपेंडेंट अपॉन ईयर ऑफ, जो भी सीजन ऑफ द ईयर, दैट यू कैनॉट डू इट ऑलवेज. Again, second problem, restricted by geography. Third, रेन वाटर सिस्टम अगर आपका पोल्यूट हो जाए तो दैट इज अनदर प्रॉब्लम. यू आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू ग्राउंड वाटर पोल्यूशन. ओके. थर्ड, watershed development. You are focusing upon a holistic development of the entire watershed, which can naturally help in recharging of aquifers. Best possible solution. So rainwater harvesting and watershed development, these are the best possible solution. But यहाँ पे challenge क्या होगा? That it requires multiple stakeholders working together, many ministries, local people participation, and some people can protest also that ये land जो है हम किसी और purpose के लिए use कर रहे हैं, you are using it for water conservation. So it can lead to other set of problems. It can lead to policy paralysis. Very few work can happen on ground, right? तो ये कुछ challenges जो है यहाँ पे आ सकता है. एक और टेक्नोलॉजी में बात करूँ, एटमॉस्फेरिक वाटर जनरेटर का. एटमॉस्फेरिक वाटर जनरेटर का गोल ये है that you will try to condense water vapor from the atmosphere and you will try to produce fresh water out of it. Same problem, energy intensive process, right? And second, if you do not have enough moisture, and that can happen in dry region, then this technology is again not going to be very, very helpful. So this is how you can write. In conclusion, you will mention that for a country like India, जहाँ पे water availability year by year कम होते जा रहा है, and on an average we already are a water stressed country, investing into energy efficient clean technologies for fresh water is a prerequisite for social and economic empowerment. तो ये आप लिख सकते हो, ये concluding remark ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है आपका. ठीक है. Let's look at the next question. The adoption of electric vehicles is rapidly growing worldwide. How do electric vehicles contribute to reducing carbon emissions, and what are the key benefits they offer compared to traditional combustion engine vehicles? Okay. Proper technology का question है ये और policy का question है ये. तो पहला इसका आंसर तो एक बढ़िया तरीका ये हो सकता है कि मैं अगर फर्स्ट लाइन को contextualize कर दूं. If I have some data regarding electric vehicles in India, in world, how it is growing, if I have some information, some data, I can use that. Even if I do not have specific data, आप लिख तो सकते ही हो कि EVs का जो पूरा एक segment है electric vehicles का, ये year by year जो है ये कंपाउंडिंगली ग्रो कर रहा है, बोथ इन 2 व्हीलर्स, 3 व्हीलर्स एज वेल एज इन 4 व्हीलर्स एंड heavier vehicles. How do electric vehicles contribute to reducing carbon emission? 2-3 तरीके हैं. एंड सेकेंड एंड ये पार्ट एंड सेकेंड पार्ट है वो कनेक्टेड है, वो इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है. तो पहला तरीका तो यही है दैट इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स जो है दे रन ऑन बैटरी एंड दैट बैटरी कैन बी चार्ज्ड विथ हेल्प ऑफ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी or with help of grid based energy, and if my grid has more contribution from renewable nuclear then I am able to reduce my carbon footprint. तो सबसे पहला तो benefit ये है that I have the flexibility to reduce my carbon footprint. If in the electric grid जो मैं बैटरी चार्ज कर रहा हूँ इलेक्ट्रिक ग्रिड से, if that electric grid has larger contribution from solar, wind, nuclear, देन इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का कार्बन फुटप्रिंट बहुत कम होगा. जो इंटरनल कंबशन इंजन है दैट रन्स ऑन डीजल, दैट रन्स ऑन पेट्रोल, दैट रन्स ऑन सीएनजी, ऑल 3 ऑफ देम आर फॉसिल फ्यूल. व्हेन ऑल 3 ऑफ देम बर्न दे विल इमिट लॉट ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. कोई स्कोप नहीं है हमारे पास यहाँ पे कार्बन इमिशन रिड्यूस करने का. सो व्हाइल देयर इज अ स्कोप ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग इमिशन इन इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल, यू डू नॉट हैव सेम स्कोप in combustion engine. And if you can have 80-90% of electricity from solar, wind, nuclear, then you have reduced your carbon footprint by more than 90% compared to typical petrol diesel vehicles. ठीक है, बट और भी बेनिफिट्स हैं एंड इसको आप सेकेंड पार्ट में हाईलाइट कर सकते हो. एक दूसरा बेनिफिट ये है दैट इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स हैव दिस रीजेनरेटिव चार्जिंग. जैसे अभी हम ब्रेक जब अप्लाई करते हैं, ब्रेक के लिए जो एनर्जी चाहिए दैट एनर्जी इज लॉस्ट एज अ हीट एनर्जी टू द हीटिंग अप ऑफ रोड. In case of electric vehicle, that applying of brake, it essentially helps in charging the battery. I'm not going to technical details of that how does it function, but you should know that in electric vehicles, applying of brake helps in charging of the battery. So electric vehicles जो है वो energy efficient ज़्यादा है. Okay? एक और बहुत बड़ा benefit electric vehicles का ये है that they do not produce noise. Electric vehicles are very very silent. जो fossil fuel based vehicles हैं they have lot of noise. तो एक और बहुत amazing benefit ये है that it reduces sound pollution caused by automobile sector. In the conclusion, I will definitely talk about National Electric Mission Mobility Plan or FAME scheme of Government of India, which aims to create a ecosystem of electric vehicle throughout the country. ठीक है? So this is one of those themes which was expected to be asked. कि UPSC कभी ना कभी पूछेगी, and finally they asked this question in 2023. Last few questions and we are done with today's session. This is another theme which was expected to be asked, and finally this question was asked in 2025, last year. The fusion energy program in India has steadily evolved over the past few decades. Mention India's contribution to International Fusion Energy Project, International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. What will be the implications of success of this project for the future of global energy? बहुत ही expected question था ये पिछले 3-4 साल से ऐसे था कि कभी ना कभी आएगा, and finally this question was asked. ये बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन है. यहाँ पे अगर आप जेनेरिक आंसर लिखोगे कोई मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा. तो पहले तो आप न्यूक्लियर फ्यूजन को डिफाइन कर सकते हो कि न्यूक्लियर फ्यूजन होता क्या है. लाइटर न्यूक्लियाई फ्यूजिंग टुगेदर, फॉर्मिंग हेवी न्यूक्लियस, प्रोड्यूसिंग लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी. दिस इज द प्रोसेस विच पावर्स स्टार्स, एंड दिस इज द प्रोसेस विच वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू इन दिस वेरी फेमस सेटअप कॉल्ड ITR. आप थोड़ा सा लिखोगे यहाँ पे, ITR इज अ टोकामैक. It is a magnetic fusion device which is called tokamak, located in France. You will mention that more than 24 countries are collaborating in this project. India is one of those countries. In this project called International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. The goal here is to produce 500 megawatt of fusion energy. अब इंडिया का यहाँ पे क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है? फ्यूजन अकर्स एट वेरी वेरी हाई टेम्परेचर, यू नीड कूलिंग सिस्टम्स. तो इंडिया का जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो है कूलिंग सिस्टम में. वी नीड समथिंग कॉल्ड क्रायोस्टैट्स which essentially can cool down the entire system. India has provided that cryostat. We have provided cryo line to cool some important components of the tokamak reactor. We have supplied pumps and valves which are very important for the safety of the tokamak. And last but not the least, many Indian scientists are working there. So we are also supplying intellectual capability of Indian scientists who are contributing to this particular project at ITR. तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम लिख सकते हैं कि what are the contributions made by India, what will be the implications of this success for this project for the future of global energy. तो फ्यूजन के देखो बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स हैं. फ्यूजन प्रोड्यूसेस मोर एनर्जी दैन न्यूक्लियर फिशन ऑल्सो. कुछ चेंज करना है क्या? तो 2 मिनट रुक जाओ, मैं 2 मिनट में ब्रेक लेना ही है मुझे. जस्ट 2 मिनट रुक जाओ, 2 मिनट बस. फ्यूजन प्रोड्यूसेस मोर एनर्जी दैन न्यूक्लियर फिशन. यूरेनियम, 1 kg यूरेनियम से जितना एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस होगा, 1 किलो ड्यूटेरियम ट्राइटियम से उससे ज़्यादा एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस होगा. फिशन के साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है, एंड फ्यूजन ऑल्सो डज नॉट इमिट एनी ग्रीन हाउस गैसेज, so no carbon footprint. But fission had certain problems. There was a fear of nuclear waste management. There was a fear of uncontrolled chain reaction. Fusion में ऐसा कोई fear नहीं है. You do not have nuclear waste. You do not have chain reactions. And you can produce clean source of energy for hundreds of years without worrying about carbon emission and reactor meltdowns and waste management. This is the remarkable thing about nuclear fusion. So if it becomes possible, the entire global energy ecosystem will change in a way which is unforeseen. Okay, let's look at the next question. This question we already discussed. Acha, we have only one more question then. This year's question from nanotechnology. How does nanotechnology offer significant advancements in the field of agriculture? How can this technology help to uplift the socio-economic status of farmers? So as I told you that there are certain themes which are more important for you. Technology, technological solution to in agriculture or environment or education or healthcare. Think of you as a civil servant and working at the grassroots level and thinking about possible technological solutions. So I have many questions like this. Look at the question. How does nanotechnology help in health sector? Or a question, how can biotechnology improve the living standards of farmers? Or another question, how does space technology help in India's socio-economic development? So you see that there are certain themes which are more important for you for UPSC Mains examination. इस क्वेश्चन का कॉन्टेक्स्ट जो है वो है दैट देयर इज अ एग्रीकल्चरल कोऑपरेटिव कॉल्ड इफको, इंडियंस फार्मर एंड फर्टिलाइजर कोऑपरेटिव, और उन्होंने कुछ साल पहले उनको पेटेंट मिला फॉर अ नैनो फर्टिलाइजर, नैनो यूरिया, and then they later got it for nano DAP also, and they have, I think, a few more such fertilizers. So how does nanotechnology offer significant advancements in the field of agriculture? अब पहले तो nanotechnology को define करोगे, that nanotechnology simply means science and engineering done at nanoscale. Nanoscale means 1 to 100 nanometer. So we are talking about नैनो मटीरियल्स जिनका जो डायमेंशन है वो 1 से 100 नैनोमीटर के बीच में है. सो दे आर मेड ऑफ फ्यू टेंस एंड हंड्रेड्स ऑफ एटम्स, बिकॉज एनी बल्क मटीरियल विच यू कैन थिंक ऑफ एंड विच यू कैन सी विथ योर नेकेड आइज, there will be quadrillions and quadrillions of atoms and molecules. But in nanomaterial, you will have few tens of them, few hundreds of them, few thousands of them, and that's it. नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी के अपने खुद के अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स हैं. Many processes happen at nanoscale. Atomic molecular processes happen at nanoscale. Biological processes happen at nanoscale. दूसरा benefit ये है that nanomaterials have very large surface area. As a result of that, they are very good at reactivity. They are very good, they act as a very good catalyst in chemical reaction. तो ये सारी चीज़ें एग्जाम में नहीं लिखना. I'm just giving you a background that what is nanotechnology all about. तो पहले तो आप nanotechnology को define कर सकते हो एंड आप immediately लिख सकते हो कि nanotechnology के applications agriculture में क्या है. सबसे फेमस एप्लीकेशन है मेकिंग नैनो फर्टिलाइजर्स. एंड वहां पे आप जो नैनो यूरिया वाला एग्जाम्पल है, नैनो डैप वाला एग्जाम्पल है, पक्के से लिख के आओगे, ज्यादा नंबर मिलेंगे आपको. इफ्को का एग्जाम्पल हो गया आप कि इंडियन फार्मर्स एंड फर्टिलाइजर कोऑपरेटिव, दे हैव मेड दिस नैनो यूरिया एंड नैनो डैप. नैनो फर्टिलाइजर के बारे में आप और लिख सकते हो दैट नैनो मटीरियल्स, वेरी लार्ज सरफेस एरिया. एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट व्हेन यू स्प्रे देम ऑन लीव्स, plants can directly absorb nitrogen from the leaves. They do not have to take it from roots. They can directly absorb it from leaves. First. Second, one large bag of urea can be replaced with 500 gram of nano urea. So that reduces carbon footprint of agriculture, and that also reduces the logistical cost of agriculture without adding extra cost to farmers. तो बहुत सारे lines है benefits है. But then you will talk about nano pesticides. The same way we have nano fertilizers, we have nano pesticides and herbicides and insecticides that to kill unnecessary pests and herbs, we can use nanomaterials. This will be much more, this will be a very good example of precision agriculture, that our intervention can be very, very precise in what we are trying to solve. We can talk about nanosensors, that how with help of nanosensors in soil, we can monitor soil and we can work towards improving productivity, and we can make our agriculture a bottom-up agriculture rather than one-size-fit-all agriculture. Our intervention can be very specific. Then in the second part, how it can help in uplifting the socio-economic status of farmer. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं. More productivity without extra agricultural input cost, right? Better farming decision, right? तो ये सारी चीज़ें आप लिखोगे कि as agriculture becomes more lucrative, जो per hectare production है, that is going to improve, and farmers can benefit out of it. They can produce more by reducing their agricultural input. So, and that is how you can conclude the answer. तो इस क्वेश्चन का जो स्पेसिफिक रीजन था वो था इफ्को एंड नैनो फर्टिलाइजर्स सच एज नैनो यूरिया एंड नैनो डाईअमोनियम फॉस्फेट फर्टिलाइजर, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड. बट ये जो थीम है, एज आई मेंशन्ड अर्लियर, दैट टेक्नोलॉजिकल सोल्यूशन टू सॉल्व सोशियो इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम, ये एक एवरग्रीन थीम है, एंड ऑलवेज एक्सपेक्ट क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम दिस थीम. So this concludes my discussion of science and tech question of previous 3 years. As I said, my expectation from you that please go and write these answers. I have discussed these topics, 2 or 3 model answers I showed you, but you go and write answer to all of these questions. Okay? All the best, guys.